Her silhouette drifts through the corridors of grand estates, her form veiled in sorrow and mystery. Known as the Grey Lady, this enigmatic ghost has captured the imagination of generations. But who is she? What is her tragic story? And why does her spirit linger in the world of the living? In this story and documentary, we unravel the tale of the Grey Lady, exploring her origins, the places she haunts, and her enduring legacy in English folklore and beyond. This is the story of the Grey Lady.
In the heart of an ancient castle, surrounded by misty moors, a tale has persisted through the ages. They say she is the Grey Lady, a figure of sorrow and regret, forever bound to these stone halls. On a cold, moonlit night, a young historian named Clara visits the castle, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. She sets up her camera and begins to explore the empty halls. The air feels heavy. Whispers echo through the corridors, and faint footsteps follow her every move. Clara reaches the grand ballroom, its dusty chandeliers swaying gently. There she sees her, a woman in a flowing gray gown, her translucent figure illuminated by the moonlight. Her eyes filled with sadness, and raises a hand, as if to warn Clara of something unseen. The Grey Lady points toward a hidden door behind an old tapestry. Clara cautiously opens it, revealing a forgotten treasure chest. Inside, she finds a diary. The words within tell of betrayal, a stolen heirloom, and an unfulfilled promise. The Grey Lady's story comes alive. Her sorrowful wails filling the room as her figure slowly fades. Clara restores the diary to the castle's archives, honoring the lady's legacy. The whispers cease, and for the first time in centuries, the halls fall silent. They say the Grey Lady was seen no more, her warning fulfilled, her story finally laid to rest.
The story of the Grey Lady varies across England, but in many versions she was a noblewoman or servant tied to a tragic love story, betrayal, or great personal loss. Often she is depicted as a woman of grace and intelligence whose life was cut short under harrowing circumstances. It is a staple of British folklore. People who die violently, tragically, or with deathbed requests unfulfilled are likely to return as revenants or spirits to torment the living, and these stories are no exception. The Grey Lady is a trope of English legend which sees women who died horribly at the hands of men in particular, or who died broken-hearted, haunting the living as a permanent reminder of that injustice. In several accounts, the Grey Lady died due to heartbreak, betrayal, or an untimely accident. In one popular tale, she was a maid in love with a nobleman. When their love was discovered, she was cast out and perished alone in despair. Other stories claim she was wrongfully accused of treachery or even murder, leading to her untimely death. Her restless spirit, tethered to the pain of her final moments, continues to haunt the locations tied to her tragedy. The Grey Lady is almost always described as a spectral woman, clad in a flowing gray or silver gown. She is pale and translucent, with a serene yet melancholic expression. Witnesses often describe her movements as gliding or floating, her presence accompanied by an air of sadness or nostalgia. Despite her ethereal beauty, she inspires unease due to her otherworldly aura. When the Grey Lady is near, witnesses often report strange phenomena. A sudden chill in the air, inexplicable drops in temperature is one of the most common signs of her presence. Sometimes, a faint, sweet scent like that of flowers or perfume lingers in the room, a haunting echo of her earthly life. Gentle, almost imperceptible footsteps or soft sighs are often heard, even when no one else is around. A mist or faint light sometimes appears in the space she is about to occupy, signaling her approach. And of course, there are the sightings, her silent figure gliding through the halls, staircases, or near windows, always shrouded in her ghostly elegance. The Grey Lady is not confined to one location, but is tied to several across England. At Rufford Abbey in Nottinghamshire, she is said to haunt the cloisters and gardens, her presence tied to a tragic love affair that ended in despair. The Grey Lady at the Rufford Abbey is believed to be Elizabeth Hesketh, a daughter of the family who owned the hall from its construction in around 1530 until 1936, when the property was donated to the National Trust by Thomas Fermor Hesketh, 1st Baron Hesketh. The story goes that when her husband was away at war, Elizabeth fell very ill and promised to live until he returned home so that she could say farewell in person. He never returned, so her wish went unfulfilled, and she died without ever saying goodbye. Perhaps still waiting to bid farewell to the spouse who never returned home, her ghost is now frequently spotted on the driveway or close to the main door. At Hampton Court Palace in London, she is believed to be Sybil Penn, the nurse to King Edward VI. She nursed Elizabeth I during her battle with smallpox in 1562, a sickness which almost killed the Queen. While Elizabeth survived, Lady Sybil contracted the disease herself. She died and was buried in an impressive tomb at nearby Hampton Church. In 1829, the church was rebuilt, and her tomb moved during the renovations, an event which is believed to have triggered the hauntings of the Grey Lady at the Great Palace where Lady Sybil lived and worked centuries earlier. One story claims that shortly after her tomb was disturbed, strange noises were heard through a wall at Hampton Court, which sounded like someone working an old-fashioned spinning wheel. A search investigating these sounds revealed a previously undiscovered room, which of course contained an antique spinning wheel untouched for centuries. At Longleat House in Wiltshire, the Grey Lady is believed to be Louisa Thynne, an English noblewoman, the second wife of Thomas Thynne, 2nd Viscount Weymouth. A myth has evolved that the family home of Longleat House is haunted by Louisa's ghost, grieving over the death of her lover, who was discovered and killed by her husband. The Grey Lady has been seen weeping silently in the halls and by the grand staircase. Each place she haunts tells a story of love, betrayal, and sorrow, etched into the very stones of the buildings she lingers within. Encounters with the Grey Lady are rarely violent, but they leave a lasting emotional impact on those who experience them. Witnesses describe feelings of sadness or a heavy emotional weight after seeing her. Some accounts even describe her appearances as omens, foretelling misfortune or death. Though she does not harm, her presence stirs deep fear and unease, a reminder of the unknown and the unfinished stories of the past. Throughout history, those seeking to avoid or rid themselves of the Grey Lady's presence have turned to spiritual rituals. Salt and holy water were often used to cleanse spaces believed to be haunted, their purifying power thought to banish spirits. Prayers and blessings performed by clergy were also common, intended to guide restless souls to peace. Burning sage was another practice. Its smoke was believed to purify haunted spaces. Today, modern ghost hunters often rely on spiritual mediums to communicate with her, attempting to resolve her unfinished business and encourage her to move on to the afterlife. The Grey Lady has become an iconic figure in ghost stories and popular media. Her archetype appears in countless works of literature, films, and television shows, especially those exploring haunted castles and restless spirits. Ghost tours across England recount her tales, drawing visitors to the sites she is said to haunt. Her image as a tragic, ethereal figure resonates deeply, ensuring her story endures in both folklore and modern storytelling. One of the most notable appearances is in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, where the Grey Lady is reimagined as the ghost of Helena Ravenclaw, daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw, one of the founders of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. In the story, Helena, known as the Grey Lady, haunts the Hogwarts castle as the spectral representative of Ravenclaw House. Her tragic tale mirrors that of her folklore counterparts, a story of betrayal, regret, and unresolved pain. She stole her mother's diadem, an act of rebellion, and fled. The betrayal deeply wounded Rowena, and when Helena was eventually tracked down by the Bloody Baron, her story ended in tragedy. This adaptation brings a unique dimension to the Grey Lady's legend, blending her traditional characteristics with the magical world of Hogwarts. Through Harry Potter, her story has reached millions worldwide, cementing her as a figure of both mystery and heartbreak in popular culture. The Grey Lady is more than just a ghost. She is a symbol of love, loss, and the enduring echoes of human emotion. Her story reminds us that some wounds never heal, even after death. Whether a spectral warning from the past or a timeless reminder of our own vulnerabilities, the Grey Lady's legend continues to haunt not only the great estates of England, but also the hearts and minds of all who hear her tale. Through her enduring presence, she bridges the gap between the past and the present, leaving us with questions that may never be answered.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.